Welcome. Get set up here. StarCraft.
Hello everyone and welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Today it's time for a Protoss versus Zerg where we find ourselves on Glittering Ashes. Spawning right here in the top right corner of the map, playing with the blue Protoss probe from Germany. We have Showtime, and his opponent in the opposite corner with the red Zerg drones from South Korea. We are looking at Dark's main hatchery. Alright, so this particular game was played during IEM Katowice, and from what I've heard, Dark apparently has a very cool approach to Skytles. So I don't know who ends up winning this game, I just know that, well, I guess it's not really a surprise, right? It's Showtime, it's on one of the very biggest maps in the current map pool. He likes to open up with the standard in pretty much every single one of his games, and what a current standard in PvZ is, of course,
Just
players really enjoy just simply sitting back, making a million support crawlers, and creating that stalemate, right? That's what we see from a lot of the top-tier Zerg players, like for example Serral, is definitely not afraid to go for target.
I just redid it by setup.
Support crawler approach, where you just simply prevent the problem there from getting damage.
It's crazy loud right now. I like that.
And usually from there, the top-level Zerg players tend to win. That being said, apparently Dark takes an entirely different approach this time around, so I'm excited to find out exactly what he ended up going for. So I'm not really expecting any fireworks right here in the earlier stage of the game. Got ourselves a very quick gas geyser right here for Showtime, followed up with a gateway as well as a Nexus on the low ground. He'll go for the Cyber Core here soon enough, and I'm expecting Dark to go for a pretty quick third hatchery. Yep. Now, by the way, in case my voice sounds a little bit funny, you know that thing that's been going around the world over the last couple of years, right? I tested positive for that yesterday. Not really feeling too bad, to be honest. I slept a little bit more than usual, but I do have a bit of an itchy throat, so I'm trying to pace myself and not talk too loud and all that. But yeah, in case I sound a little bit lower energy, and my voice sounds just a little bit different than it normally does. Yeah, that is why. But so far, honestly, it's not really too bad. Gotta take it easy over the next couple of days. So rather than casting, I think this was a best of 5 series. Rather than casting the entire best of 5, I'll just settle for the one game right here on Glittering Ashes. All right, so there it is. The Stargate coming up right here from Mr. Showtime. Double gas already. Dark is going to go straight into the main base right now as well. He's already seen the timing right there of the warp gate research as well as that depth that has started up, so this will not come as a surprise to him whatsoever. Showtime usually will focus on whatever he thinks is best in the current meta. So I know the German efficiency is a bit of a stereotype, but generally he does really play that most efficient style that he can come up with. And 9 times out of 10 currently, of course, that is that Stargate opener. Now, in case you missed it, last week Blizzard did announce a multiplayer balance patch. So that should go live over the next couple of weeks. I don't really know exactly when, but if you're interested, I'll go ahead and post a link to that video that I covered, or where I go over the changes that I uploaded last week. I'll go ahead and post a link to that down below in the description of this video, so you can go check it out after this. But most of the changes
There we go, got a catch up.
game are specifically to address Protoss versus Zerg. So
As I'm trying to arrange the next stage tour, stage 2 tour of Utopia, right tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific, just as a cruise as well. So I got a trip up the Alp on Wednesday, and a trip up the Alp on Saturday morning. With tour of Utopia stage 3.
I don't know, it's 55 or so, third base. Maybe even a little bit sooner than that. So the differences, honestly, will not really be that significant. But I think for the most part, it's going to force a lot of Protoss players to experiment once again with Twilight Council openers, Robotics Facility openers. And honestly, over the last couple of days, that's really all I've been playing on the ladder myself. And most Protoss players are now going for a variety of builds once again, which has been really exciting. Now, even though Zerg players have been complaining over the last couple of years about these Void Ray openers, I wonder how long it's going to be until, the new patch is out. And how long it'll be until Zerg players start begging to get Void Ray once again. The thing is, there's a lot of variety. So for example, I've been playing against like triple Dark Templar opener or quadruple Dark Templar opener into Archon drops. I've been playing against Glaive the Depths. I've been playing against Archon Immortal all-ins. I've been playing against Immortal Sentry all-ins. I've been playing against a variety of stuff. And the thing about all of those Protoss build orders that they do all require a specific approach. You can't just go like the 5-gate all-in, for example, where you don't go for any kind of tech structure. You can't just autopilot. Whereas against these Void Ray openers, most of the time, you can just go for your standard 4.5-minute lair, and then a Roach Warren a little bit afterwards. You can go into your Evo Chamber and your nice and comfortable quick fourth. I'm not going to be able to do that against many of those ground-based openers, and well, I definitely do think it will make the game better overall. It is going to be an interesting time when, especially Zerg players, I think, will start complaining about the other builds that have already been possible, but when they will be commonly played on the ladder once again as well. Anyhow, there's the third Stargate, right? Yeah, third Stargate already together with a Fleet Beacon. +1 attack is coming up here as well. I'm assuming that a Zergling ran on over here, just to scout that there is something spinning right there inside of that cybernetics core. Since warp gates are done, actually, that was a couple of kills. Since warp gates here are done, you know that it can only ever be attack armor or armor for the flying units. So the cybernetics core has 3 different upgrades. +1 flyer attacks, +1 flyer armor, and then also warp gates. So if you see that something is being researched right there after warp gates are already done, it is always going to be some sort of flyer attack. The reason for it is specifically those big boys, right? So carriers, they carry 8 little interceptor ships, and every single one of those interceptor ships attacks twice, and every single one of those attacks gets +1 additional damage for every single cybernetics core attack upgrade that you get. So armor upgrades still very good, but you definitely do want to prioritize those air weapon attacks if you are Protoss. Anyways, what do we have right here? So one thing we've noticed from Zerg recently is that they refuse to make Hydralisks. Hydras have kind of become like, the best way to think about Hydralisks is like...
So much good from my setup.
We only really ever see them.
Getting off the pace for D-Diesel.
Giving us vision right there with the spire.
Should be better now.
Unless you plan on going for lurkers.
So I just, should say, did a video of revamping my Swift streaming setup. It'll come out I don't know, next week or something.
So that's the approach that people have been
About
talking
yesterday's ride to
Cicero has been going straight
Worst.
to and apparently
As we
this
adjust
here is
since
going
my
straight
camera angles have changed and
That's
everything.
one of his opponent's organs right here. He's going straight into Mutalisks. I have seen Cyril do this as well. It's just that the counter attack that will more often than not happen from here is going to be extremely hard to hold. So already, Showtime not just turtling up, right? He knows what he needs to do. He's sending the units in. And the problem is Mutas are fantastic at like harassment, but they really suck at fighting opposing units. So they're good if you have like a, I don't know, 50 of them or something. They maybe could start thinking about taking out carriers. But more often than not, this is going to get a little bit messy. Okay, so the Mutas are indeed going in for the counterattack, whereas the Protoss air army right now is taking out the force base, and I don't think there's really a whole lot that Dark can do about this. Nicely done right there by Showtime. At the same time, though, yeah, the recall now will be forced. The Mutas are inside of the main base, killing loads of workers. Zerglings also were threatening to go into the third and the fourth base, but they have been pushed back for the time being. Yeah, so Mutas are very much so harassment tools. You really don't think, I really don't think that I'm going to see too many units killed here by those Mutas, because even right now they killed 2 Void Rays, but it also goes at the cost right there of like a ton of them. So was that worth it? 22 Mutas right, or sorry, 22 probes right here for 5 Mutalisks? Apparently according to Dark, I mean obviously he's also lost the fourth base, right? Apparently according to Dark he's gonna double down on the Mutas, so I guess so. In the meantime he's also double expended right here to the left side of the map, and he's actually mining only gas over here. Except for a couple of drones, but usually if you want to go for this many gases so quickly, you want to double down on the Muta production. Corruptors added into the mix as well. Protoss right now forced to transition away from that carrier production though. Yeah, you kind of need something to counter those Mutas, I suppose, and that's usually where the Phoenixes come in. So he's making both Mutas and Corruptors.
There you go, I did not install my Lutron
I've seen this a little bit in like Zerg versus
controller yet. But even when my lights turned off in here,
I'm fairly certain Dark is just going to try and
the new light is still powerful enough. That'll work for Zwix anyway. Because eventually I'll put a green screen behind me so that I'm less in the way of the screen.
Obviously, if Dark ever goes up against the maxed out Skytle's army, though, there's really not that much that, yeah, he's going to be able to do if he has this many Mutas. Alright. Couple of free units, not bad. Couple of free Zealots. Alright. So a few Archons are added to the mix, some static defense as well, which I think is a great choice. Especially right next to a shield battery. One of those Archons can stay alive for a long time. So Phoenixes, of course, can move and shoot at the same time, which is huge. These Zerg units do not have that luxury. Oh my god, he's actually going in with the Mutas. Really? Alright, Prismatic Alignment once again activated. A lot of the Protoss units right there, though. Ugh. Yeah, at low health, but not really getting that much work in. That was not as ideal. Nah, that was a lot. There's a lot of damage right there. That being said, okay, Dark is even getting the gases right here at the 5th base, as well as the 6th. So Dark is basically getting 12 gas income. Now he's switching away from Mutas, it seems, going heavily into Corruptors instead. Will you go double Spire with this? I almost feel like you should go double Spire. I feel like that would make more sense. Double Spire, double upgrades, double Evo, double upgrades? Ah, Dark has probably run the numbers. He's probably tested this out. I mean, this is an important tournament match, right? So I don't think he's just messing around here. So personally, I don't really like the I'm never gonna attack you type of approach that we see from that we see from most of the top level Zerg players, where they just simply sit back for the majority of the game and sit behind their sport crawler walls. Never been a huge fan of that. This is definitely a whole lot more interesting. Now at this point, the Anion Pulse Crystals upgrade is also done here for those Phoenixes. So the Phoenixes are capable of now hitting the opponent at a lot of range. Nice defense right there as well by Showtime, preventing units from going into the bases. Apparently also forced to kill one of his own gateways right there to get the Archon out. Okay. This is going much better here for Dark than I had anticipated. There's finally the Speedy Boy upgrade as well for those Void Rays. I wouldn't mind seeing some Storms here, though. So we have a few High Templar in here, but no research right there on the Sonic Storm, which is definitely something that I would have expected already. I mean, it's an expensive upgrade, don't get me wrong. Zerglings right now, once again, sneak into the base, and this is where Dark is very good, right? Once you start slipping up, Dark is going to be all over you. Although, well, their shield batteries are keeping the phone kind of alive for quite some time. We don't have Hive Tech here for the Zerg, so no adrenal glands or anything along those lines that make those Mutas, those Zerglings significantly more powerful. Okay, there's not a carrier going down. How many Mutas have died so far? 42! That's the answer to the life of the universe and everything. Okay, the Queen's here, though. The Queen's just keeping that one Spine Crawler alive for such a long time. Zealots, though, charging at this Zerg army, and what seemed like a really good start right here for Dark is now starting to backfire, although he is reinforcing this with more Mutas, more Roaches. It looks like eventually this Protoss army will be pushed back. Now imagine this with Storm. I think a couple of Storms right there would have changed everything. Showtime apparently opting to go for more Archons here instead, but Storm is, it's not a cheap upgrade, but I think you'd rather have one less Archon right here and add Sonic Storm into the mix. Okay, some damage here being done as well. But nice defense right here by Dark. Multitasking at a couple different angles at once. You can see that the APM is slowly climbing up here for both of these players. Obviously, as this game goes on, players will be expanding closer and closer to one another as well, right? So soon the bases on the flanks are going to be very critical. 8 more Mutas. I like how Dark looks at this. He's like, you know what? If my opponents are making a ground army, you know what's really good against ground units that can't shoot up? Couple of Mutas added into the mix. Okay. These Zealots over here are quite nice, though. Yeah, forcing this entire Zerg ground army to go on over towards the left side of the map. Maybe some caustic spray here on the base. Stalkers are being warped in. Do we have Blink done? We do not have Blink done. Yeah, Blink at Storm seems like a no-brainer, right? But apparently Showtime is feeling like he can win with a timing attack here instead. I mean, this is going to be one hell of a push. Zealots on the left side of the map will definitely be cleaned up. This base will once more go down. Second time in this game. That being said, that is a lot of Ravagers. Zerg can obviously produce a lot of those very quickly. Only one Immortal right here in the mix, and now the Mutas are showing up as well. Mutas gotta be careful, though. Archons obviously deal splash damage. Okay, nice micro right here by Dark, though. Dark's so good at that control. Ay. That fight could have backfired so hard there for the Zerg. So Archons deal splash damage in a short area, right? And Mutas obviously have a tendency to stack up. So usually what happens when I play Mutas in my own games, for example, and you'll probably experience this in yours as well, is you stack up the Mutas, you don't pay attention for a split second, and either a bunch of Archons, a Storm, or a Widowmine, right, or a group of Marines. Like everything, they're very much so paperweights. They have 120 life, which really isn't that much. Anyways, they die very easily, but it turns out that if you control them well, they can certainly pack a punch. So once again, Mutas and Corruptors on the production tab. I think this is the first time I've ever seen this in a Zerg vs. Protoss. Showtime producing some Immortals here as well. Probably unsure as to what you should do, right? So what do you do? I feel like you probably go for your, like, all-round good army. Like, there's finally the Prism coming out. I really would like to see Storm. Isn't it good against everything Zerg has got here? I might be mistaken, though. But I can also imagine that Showtime has not played against someone going Muta Archon. Or, sorry, Muta Corruptor here as his default. Left side of the map. Kill right there on the hatchery. Nicely done by Showtime. Showtime has been pushing the Expos, by the way. It's super easy to accidentally find yourself out-expended here. But Showtime has been doing a fantastic job keeping most of those workers alive, although I say that. This might actually be a bit of a problem here, okay. The one pylon powering most of this. Probes are starting to full. Desperate all-army hotkey right here, judging by the fact that the Zealots are trying to get in on this battle as well. "61 probes were killed this game, 21 drones. So look at the left side of the map as well, right? Dark already maneuvering units right there, ready to intercept those Zealots. So he knows that there's Zealots out there somewhere, but he's moving around as if the Zealots are already there. I think that's the sign of a great player, where you're already anticipating movements from your opponent, right? Even though they're not happening in this game, you can see Dark constantly ready to intercept things that aren't even there. Retaking his base, third time. Is he still at Lartech, by the way? Yeah, he's still not at Hive. So we're going to single Evo chamber upgrades. +2/+2, I guess. Just trying to get everything done. Roaches actually now catch a couple of Archons in the middle of the map. Ooh, another one just walks down from the low ground. Another 17 probes end up going down right here. Phoenix is desperately trying to micro against those Mutas. The Corruptors, though, yeah, the Corruptors can chase down the Phoenixes, and then the Mutas have, like, free reign. A very complex Zerg army to control properly. But so far, I mean, this certainly seemed viable, right? So even after this meta being around for, like, 2 years, it's really cool to see that there's still moves going on, and new playstyles being figured out. This is the one argument that people make whenever they say, I don't really want to see the patches nearly that often. And I agree with them for the most part. It's just that if you watch StarCraft 2 every day, it can become a little bit tedious when you see the same threats facing off against each other all of the time. But anyways, Zealots are now everywhere. Phoenixes have also found the Mutas. Nicely done right here by Showtime. That being said, it turns out there's multiple groups of flying Zerg units. Zealots, though, are absolutely tearing apart. The base once again ended up going down. Left side of the map also in a lot of trouble. High ground base has already been destroyed. 32 probes have gone down. That being said, if these Mutas, yeah, are left to their own devices, they will certainly kill all of those Zealots. 22 of them remain at this point, but I think that's pretty much all of them right over here. The group on the left side of the map, though, has killed another hatch. And Showtime didn't really lose anything at home other than a bunch of workers. Ooh, he lost the Spire as well, actually. That's a big deal. Yeah, he managed to stay alive here. So he's going for a very Phoenix-heavy army, producing 4 of those at once. Finally, we see some additional cybernetic score upgrades as well, which is awesome. Air weapons level 3, very good for those Phoenixes. Battery overcharge. Okay, Mutas can shut that down very easily. I wonder how Dark is hotkeying this. Do you think he's got separate hotkeys for the Corruptors and the Mutas? Probably. Maybe. I don't know. We'd have to change the UI in order to see that. Yeah. I guess once Zerg gets the air dominance, it's very hard to come back into this. Dark at this point also saving up, waiting for that new Spire of his to finish up. It's actually off creep. Protoss obviously is running out of money here in the natural as well as in the main. A lot of Zealot warp in still. I think he plans on, well, we have a warp prism over there. Why didn't we warp it over there? Anyways, still trying to deal as much damage here as possible on the other side of the map. 4 more Corruptors added into the mix, but Corruptors obviously only have air-to-air. Oh my god. Dark with 100 probe kills cleanly in this game. He's lost 86 Mutas, and he still has 21 left over. So we have 100 plus Mutalisks in a Protoss versus Zerg. 100 plus Mutas versus Skytals. It's working out surprisingly well. Huh. Still feel like Storm would have been nice. I know I've said that like 17 times already, but right now we have 11 Phoenixes and 10 Zealots going up against 23 Mutas and 9 Corruptors. I guess the one advantage of like going Mutas is that it forces the Protoss to switch away from carriers, right? I mean, the carriers can work out, but Zerk is just going to run circles around you. Never actually engage the main army. By the way, I believe it's fine if you watch this video at least 1.5 meters away from your screen. Stop licking your monitor. All right, now stop it. Stop. Come on. Well, so far, it's not really been that big of a deal. I found out yesterday I was feeling pretty bad for a couple days. And so far, I mean, if it remains like this, I've had plenty of throat and like, you know, little pains here and there in the past. Usually, right, the reason why I did a test is because I wanted to check. But most of the time, whenever I have like an itchy throat or my voice is feeling a little bit funny, it's because I've been talking too much. So, for example, last week I streamed like 40 hours. So I was like, oh, it's probably because I streamed a little too much. Turns out it wasn't. All right, nice magic boxing right there on the mutas as well. Corruptors chasing a lot of this army down. Those Phoenixes, though, outranging everything, right? So with good control, yeah, I really do like what Mr. Showtime here is doing. With good control, he can theoretically kill everything here that the Zerg has. Although that one Spore Crawler over here is zoning away against his army as well. Protoss retaking the high ground base. A little bit ballsy here because obviously not really a whole lot of ground army available. Corruptors are really beefy, though. Yeah, their base armor makes this quite a bit better. Still no hive tech, by the way, for Zerg. At this point, Showtime is starting to run out of juice. Dark still has 1,200 minerals worth of, well, stuff. Wouldn't mind it if he decided to spend a whole lot of that on maybe some additional spores or just a whole lot of Zerglings once again for counterattacks. Or queens. That also makes sense. Yeah, 30 Zerglings and 4 queens. Not a bad idea. Corruptors right now chasing down the Phoenixes to the best of their abilities. Mutas have been split off from the pack to try and go after these Zealots. Okay, this is good. This is very good for Showtime. He's got a lot of energy on these. Obviously, Zerg doesn't have that much money anymore either. 33 drones here only. You have to remake his Roach Warren as well. Okay, Council right there on that base. There's only one mineral field over here. Actually, Showtime is completely broke. I wonder if maybe you should have gone for the base in the center or the one over here or something. I don't know. Yeah. Careful, Mr. Showtime. Dark at this point doesn't have a lot of income, but it's more than his opponent. Yeah, he's got that freshly acquired base right there on the left side of the map. Showtime, though, realizes that there's no way that his opponent is going to let him mine, and there's no way he's going to win with the army that he's got. And with that, it is Dark who obtains the victory.
He likes that good bike build. I do. so hard when you go uphill not to just put some power down and just stay at the 1.5 watts per kilogram. Just want to bump it up to 2 or 2.5. Don't even think about it, really.
Apple Studio Display is its first display since 2011. Well, it's its first display to include a stand, and not at a $5,000 asking price without the $1,000 optional stand, but I think you know where I'm coming from here. This is Apple's first, let's call it to be nice, a consumer-grade level monitor, one that is actually attainable even at its high $1,600 price point. And since this is Apple's first true consumer-grade monitor in over 10 years, I'm here to tell you why I am buying it, and why you should too. Well, let's first talk about why this is such a big deal. Why is everyone making such a fuss about a computer monitor? People are going crazy for the Studio Display. Well, at least Mac fans are, because I think the Studio Display is important for Mac users, because you have to kind of understand the history here. Apple used to make a lot of different displays for their Mac customers, and the last really true, again, consumer-level display that we got from Apple was in 2011 with their Thunderbolt display, and that display was sold for a very long time, until Apple discontinued it in 2016, where they basically got out of the display business altogether, and they partnered with LG to make Mac displays that fit their specifications. So these displays were good on paper. They were $1,300 for the equivalent 5K display, so they were cheaper, and they basically came with Apple's display panels. Now, obviously, LG still made the panel for Apple, but Apple kind of gave them their own custom color profile tweaks and basically built it out to the specs that they wanted with the 5K Retina resolution that would fit for that 27-inch display, and they also made a smaller 4K display at 21.5 inches, and then eventually they made a 24-inch LG Ultrafine 4K monitor as well. So these displays were basically up to Apple specs, and they got a lot of things right with the display quality, but they also got a lot of things wrong. Things that traditionally, if Apple was making a display, they would have not got wrong. Things like the design. I think since the beginning or introduction of the LG Ultrafine 5K display, one thing almost everyone said about this was that the design at its best was uninspiring and just looked like a regular PC monitor with the same black plastic casing that all these other PC monitors had, and at its worst, it had some weird design elements going on to it. Like, it had like a bigger forehead than the bottom chin area, and just overall, this was like a big, creaky, plastic-looking monitor, and it didn't look like it was something that Apple made. And it does truly baffle me sometimes that when you look at this Apple Studio display, I don't know about you, but I think it is a very nice-looking display, certainly almost better than anything else that you can get from any other Apple display with the LG Ultrafine 5K, but other PC monitor displays as well. I just don't see something that I really want to put on my desk, something that inspires me to use this device, and I think when you speak to a lot of Apple customers, a lot of Mac customers, they want something that looks nice on their desk. They just don't want a generic-looking monitor that, okay, the display panel looks nice, they actually want this design to fit into whatever desk setup they're doing. So that is something that Apple focuses on traditionally with all of their product lines, but especially in an external monitor, it's just not something you see focused on a lot. You just see these kind of all look generically the same, and then they just focus on the display panel and leave everything else aside. And these monitors also lacked other nice features that Apple usually focuses on, so you didn't get nice speakers with it. And by all accounts, looking at the specs for the Studio display and seeing the speaker system that they just integrated into it, I would expect that to actually be a really competent inbuilt speaker system for that new Studio display, especially with the 6-speaker system and with Apple focusing on spatial audio. If you ever listen to the new MacBook Pro speakers, you know those are pretty good. So Apple getting even more headroom to work with in a 27-inch monitor, I'm just going to assume those speakers are going to sound pretty excellent. Apple also focuses on other nice things. So the webcam in these new external displays, it's not just a nice webcam, it also has the center stage feature, which has previously been exclusive to the iPad lineup. And actually, strangely enough, even the MacBooks don't have this yet. So this will be an exclusive feature right now for the Mac on this Studio display. And that's partly the reason why Apple has that A13 chip in there to run features like the center stage camera feature. So that is actually a pretty compelling feature. It's building out the kind of value that you would get with this monitor as opposed to just going with other monitor options in its price range. This is also one of Apple's most versatile monitors yet. So it does come in with a stand at $1,600, which is kind of like that iMac stand where you can kind of adjust the angle of it, but there's really no height adjustment. Well, Apple actually now gives you that option as well, although to be fair, I think it's really overpriced here, asking for an additional $400 for a height adjustable stand. It looks like it's kind of based on the same design as the Pro Display XDR stand, so it's probably a little bit over-engineered here for what most customers would want. But hey, this is an option that Apple gives you, where before with their Thunderbolt monitor, you didn't even have that option. And then obviously you always have that VESA mount option if you want to bring your own VESA mount stand into this, and that is the same price as going with the included stand. Now it's important to remember that you do have to pick the stand configuration you want at the time of purchase. I don't know why this is. I don't know why Apple couldn't incorporate a design where you could switch out stands easier, but if you want the generic stand, it's $1,600. If you want that height adjustable stand, you better make sure you know you want it, because that's an additional $400. And then if you really want the VESA mount option, which is not going to give you any stand out of the box, but if you already have a VESA mount stand that you want to use or you plan on using, well, you need to make sure you check that option as well. You also get the option of putting a nano texture glass finish, which would kind of make the display more of a matte finish that would reduce glare. And Apple says this is really good in bright environments where there's maybe like a lot of natural sunlight. And I have never personally used one of these nano textured glass displays before, but Apple has offered this option in the past on their Pro Display XDR and also on their previous iMac. And although I haven't used it, I've read a lot of reviews and seen a lot of videos covering the nano textured glass, and people say it works really well at reducing glare. So if that's an issue you face in your current work environment with a lot of light or glare, well, hey, here's another option. I've seen a lot of people always ask for matte finished display options, especially from Apple on their laptops and other devices. So here it is. You can actually get it now. I believe it's like a $200 add-on. But let's get back to the meat of what the Studio display is, because it combines that, I think, great design, the better build quality, all of these additional features, now more versatility and options than ever, with a great-looking 5K panel. And yeah, I don't have this Studio display to review right now, but based on everything I know about Apple display panels and the fact that this is probably pretty much the same 5K panel that they took out of the Retina 5K iMac, with the only exception being that this Studio display is actually going to be a little bit brighter at 600 nits versus the old iMac's 500 nits of brightness. This display should look great by all means. It has the really sharp 5K Retina resolution, which means it will get you, what Apple calls Retina on the pixel density. So if you're sitting at a normal viewing distance, you should not see pixels on this display. And then you're also getting the P3 wide color gamut and an excellent factory calibrated display. And I think a big benefit of that is right out of the box, this Studio display will match almost perfectly or very nicely.
Okay, so that's a nice monitor. But really,
you're working on your MacBook,
like I have what is it, an LG 4K monitor, USB, actually not USB-C. Doesn't want to spend that extra money at the time. I just don't see why I'd get this Apple one instead. It says Apple on it? I don't need any better color gamut or anything like that. I can just leave it. Oh, totally price it out sometimes. Let's
I just want a good 4K display that I can hook up to my new Mac Studio or my existing Mac Mini or my MacBook cheaply. And hey, I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. There are plenty of options out there if none of this other stuff bothers you or anything I mentioned about this Studio display doesn't appeal to you. You have a huge market of PC displays at that 4K resolution that you can go out and buy, and I think that's great. Any way to save money? Hey, I'm all for it. If that works for you and you have a great experience with it, why not go for those cheaper options? But to insert a quick counterpoint, I've seen a lot of people say the Studio Display is overpriced, and granted, I'm very close to agreeing with them there because I do feel like it should have been a little bit cheaper, especially given how close it is in price to the 5K iMac. You know, for $200 more, before they discontinued the iMac, you could get a whole computer inside of it. Granted, it was an Intel computer. Now that we've seen M1, I don't know if people really want to use Intel computers anymore, but yes, you could get a full computer inside of it for $200 more with a 27-inch iMac. But I have to be fair to the Studio Display, and when I look at the market, the PC monitor market, and I look for a 5K display that fits Apple's billing for that Retina resolution and offers all of the simplicity of this monitor, of connecting it to your MacBook and having that charge off of one cable and one connection and using Thunderbolt, there isn't a lot out there for a 27-inch 5K Retina monitor. And before we leave here, I just want to bring it back to buying a Studio Display. Obviously, I said I am buying one, and I think most people watching this video would go, well, of course you're buying one. You make YouTube videos, you cover Apple, and I get that, that's fair. But I would also say, for you to buy this monitor, you're going to see a lot of coverage, especially on this new Mac Studio and the Studio Display in the next coming weeks, saying, this is for professional users, and consumers should not buy this display. I think that's wrong. I think that's totally wrong. I get the price is high. $1,600 in today's economy, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to be spending on a monitor. But granted, Apple monitors in the past have always been pretty pricey. We're talking about like $1,000 or $1,300, and then we're not even going to mention the Pro Display XDR's price at this point. But there is something to say about just wanting a nice experience. And that nice experience, although this monitor may be geared more towards professionals, is still something as a consumer that you can appreciate and something that you can want. Everyone wants a nice display. Everyone wants to work at a display where they look at it all day long and they're not going, this looks ugly, this looks bad. They want something that looks nice, both in terms of design and in terms of display quality, and the Studio Display gets you there, and it gives you all of the simplicity and elegance that you would expect from an Apple display. And if you're a consumer looking at this and you're hearing those comments and going, well, you don't need this, you don't need this. Sometimes it's not about the need. Sometimes it's about the want. And as someone who primarily used Apple products for basically their entire life, even before I started doing YouTube professionally, even before I started doing YouTube at all, I have always gravitated towards Mac products because of things like their design, their ease of use, and just because I like using them. And if that sounds like you, and you have the money to spend on the $1,600 monitor, and you want a Studio Display, and you're not in this professional environment, I don't think you should feel bad about that. I think you should get what you want, and if I was in your shoes, I would definitely want this display. I want it now. Because for me, this is the monitor I have been wanting Apple to make since they discontinued the Thunderbolt display in 2016. And I am so happy that we finally have an option. But I'm going to tell you even more about it when I actually get this thing in for review sometime this week. So if you want to see that full review of the Studio Display, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, make sure you give me a like. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.
Hey yo, welcome to a new vlog. My girl Aline and I were doing a 450-kilometer backpacking trip. First day, 250 kilometers. Second day, 80. And then 120 is gonna be a headwind journey because there's going to be a storm. And we are riding towards the storm, so not getting any comms and being really slow, fighting against the headwind. Why are we doing this? So basically, we just want to go for a swim in the sea. So we're gonna pack the bikini, and we both love a good girls trip. The vlog is going to be in German, so turn on subtitles and enjoy.
Das ist nur Essen. 20 Kilometer. 20 Kilometer. Thank you, next.
So likely get me a copyright notice when whatever the sound supplier is for this, they'll say, hey, that's a copyright flag, you don't have a license for it on your YouTube channel. I'll say, no, I don't. I was watching a video. It's a reaction. And I'll say, okay. The Epidemic Sound just flagged me most. It's fine, I'm not upset at them. But just another thing to deal with the YouTube channel and streaming and watching other people's videos.
Erklär mir das nochmal ganz kurz. Ja, die schweren Sachen unten rein. Ja, also alles gut. Die Tasche sich nicht umknickt. Genau. Aufstehen morgen. Nur bei uns. Und wir machen das freiwillig. Ja, ja. Oh mein Gott, die Sonne ist noch gar nicht aufgegangen. Ich glaube, ich bin so müde, dass ich noch nicht realisiert habe, dass ich müde bin. Guten Morgen. Der Bahn. 360 Kilometer. Bisschen Meter, oder? Nur fast 80. Oh. Du wolltest so essen in Antwerpen. Aber Hunger. Wir haben endlich unser... Nein. Nein.
Wahnsinn. Ja, das war echt cool, ne? Das war richtig cool. Das war
Alright, I don't speak Dutch or whatever that is, so fast forward to that video, because I am not going to watch it. I don't know what's happening, really. Instead of biking, which is fine, but subtitles would be nice. I suppose I could say that for English videos too, though.
Just shy of 3,000 meters climbing, 135k when I finish. Good morning everyone, and welcome back to another sunny day in Mallorca. Today is going to be a big ride. It is going to be 135k, and I've set out this morning and I don't feel too bad. I really don't feel too bad. I was a bit apprehensive, a bit skeptical about how I'd feel having done riding the last few days back to back, but I actually feel okay, so I'm really looking forward to it. Weather's gorgeous. I've already climbed up a little bit today, but I'm now approaching the very first, I'd say, proper climb of the day. And I've done it before. It's up to Galilea. So once I get up here to the top of here, it's then a descent into that Puig Punyent, which I've done before as well. And then
So one thing I kind of wanted to do last summer and I didn't get to was to Everest. So maybe this year, although I have like a 540k ride planned as well. I'll have to see what I get to. Can't take off all the time on the way. You're with kids all the time.
Like it's 17 degrees, but the descents are freezing, goosebumpy freezing, and then the climbs you've got a bead on. You've kind of either just got to grin and bear it and climb a little bit hotter than you'd like, or you've got to take it off and be a little bit colder than you'd like. I mean, I've had worse problems, I'm not gonna lie, I've had worse problems than whether I should keep my arm warmers on or take them off. They came off, cracking on, and we're living life. So yeah, what have you got in store for us today, hun? Beaut so far. I think this one's not actually that steep. I'm pretty sure it's like 5.5% over 5.5k or something like that. So not that bad. But this is the climb that is famous, kind of like Sacalabra really. It's famous for its switchbacks. And I've already done a fair few switchbacks and I'm only just at the bottom. So it is a fair few to come yet, but absolutely beautiful. There we go, proof that there's a few more switchbacks to come yet. That's crazy, there's like 9 switchbacks on my woohoo. You gotta love it though. And I think I've literally got the best day to do this big ride as well. It's like 17, 18 degrees. It's warm. Guys, that is the top of Col de Solia, complete. I have never done this climb before. Damo was like, honestly, you have to go and do it, because he did it yesterday. He was like, literally have to go and do it. So I'd already wanted to do a long one on this trip, and it seemed the perfect day, because tomorrow we're gonna have to take it a bit easier. Cafe day, and honestly, this is so worth it. I'm so glad. I've still got like 80k home, but I literally don't even care, because it's beautiful. So they're like the switchbacks at the top, but the switchbacks at the bottom, there's like absolutely loads of them. I'll try and find actually how many switchbacks there actually is on Col de Solia, because there's quite a lot. Not as many as Sacalabra, but there is a lot. But it makes the climb so much easier when there's switchbacks. It just doesn't, like we've come from all the way, like right down there, and it just makes it so much easier when there's switchbacks. So I'm pretty sure this is the crest now. Well, I hope so anyway. So I'm just going to descend the other side, and I think the switchback's on the other side as well. That was beautiful. There we go, Col de Solia, 497 metres. Yo, we've just descended into Solia, and it's quite busy in Solia. I think it's like the busiest town I've been through yet on this whole trip, so interesting. It is a lot bigger though. But now I'm just climbing out of Solia up to Denia. I will be hopping on the coast road, which we know very well, which will then descend me all the way to Andratx, then climb up to Sant Elm, and then descend home. Guys, I do not feel in a pretty place right now. I feel pretty blooming ruined already, and I've still got 40k left to go with the ride, which isn't too bad to be quite honest, but my back's sore, my bum's sore. I have not done a day in the saddle like this in a very long time. It's been incredible, but man, oh man,
welcome. Questions about bikes? Let me know, we're just doing a recovery ride today. Watch some YouTube videos as per usual. Tomorrow I think 1 p.m. Pacific. I'll be doing Tour of Rotopia stage 2. 5. Just taking it easy, recovery ride again. My legs are pretty toast, and I gotta trip up the Alp on Wednesday with the local club ride. I trip up the Alp on Saturday. Tour of Rotopia stage 3.
Apologies for the absence since I last got the camera out. I am still hacking away. Now climbing second to last climb to the flats. I'm really not far away now. I think it's just shy of 3,000 meters climbing, like 135k when I finish. What a day, complete. Oh my god. I'm ready for a chuffing lie down and some food. day on the bike today, kids. It's been the loveliest trip ever. We just did a super easy hour and a quarter on the bike today. Damo's just gone to get a takeaway coffee. We are now all complete. The sun is shining. I feel a little bit sad, but also so grateful to be here and to have had this week of literally complete lush riding. And what have you to end it on? I realised as well that I said to Damo, I was like,
One year I'd like to go to Mallorca or someplace Spain for a month in the winter. That'd be great. I gotta wait till my kids are older though. Maybe a month without my wife too, since she is booked up with figure skating coaching. She's gotta take time off. Hello, Lorelai.
So we've had another lovely day, and we're going to finish it off by exploring Palma a little bit. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff, and I hope you're happy, healthy, safe wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.
When we think of a typical GoPro video, words like exciting, sports, extreme, and of course action often come to mind. And that's what the GoPro commercial videos look like, or the videos that GoPro itself posts on YouTube. And often a sing-along take is enough. It doesn't even need particularly exciting music, because when you ski down a mountain peak in deep snow, or throw yourself off a cliff with a wingsuit, or ride a mountain bike down a steep trail, it looks cool and exciting. But if you don't do all that, then you can quickly run the risk that your videos won't look the way you imagined, that they might not be really exciting, but rather might seem a bit boring. And that's what we want to change today. With the help of 5 tips, I want to show you today how you can create more exciting GoPro videos, no matter if you want to create your videos for YouTube, Instagram, or just for yourself. And I want to start today with what's actually the last step in the process, because this step is the really crucial one, the edit. If the actual video footage isn't extremely exciting on its own, then you should try to produce something exciting and varied from the existing footage. It doesn't really matter what editing program you use. For what we are discussing today, a very simple software is sufficient. I use Final Cut Pro myself, but for a long time I produced my videos with iMovie, which is the free editing software on the Mac. And that worked well for me for a very long time. As far as editing goes, I want to share a few important principles with you today. First, I would recommend that you keep the shots in your project short. No one is interested in seeing the same shot for minutes on end, especially if there isn't something new happening all the time, so better put short clips together. A few seconds per clip is usually enough, less really is often more here, and you should know that you will keep your clips short later on when you shoot them. In the beginning, I often took very long clips. Not only did that use up a lot of memory, but I didn't feel like watching the long clips myself. I found it exhausting to edit them, so you could also say shoot for the edit. So while you're shooting, think about how you want to edit your project later. In this context, of course, it must also be said that today we have become accustomed to an incredible amount of stimuli. We watch videos or photos all the time and get bored extremely quickly. We are quickly distracted, and if something new and interesting doesn't happen right away, we click away. For all these reasons, I can't quite understand why the topic of overheating is always so heavily discussed in connection with action cameras. In the rarest of cases, I now take shots that are longer than 1 minute, but well, I also live in the mountains, and heat is usually not a problem here. Of course, it makes sense if you manage to put together a coherent story from the individual short clips. By that, I don't mean a story in the real sense, but more a logical sequence. Let's say you're making a video of skiing. You might start with a short panorama shot, then show a short clip of you putting on your skis, starting a descent, and so on. But you'll only be able to achieve all of this if you've taken shots of several different situations that you can logically put together afterwards. And that's why I recommend that you plan your shots. Think beforehand about what kind of shots you might need, what different shots would go well together. For example, what you might always need is what's called an establishing shot, which is a shot where you show the environment, where you are, or what the video is about. Just like an establishing shot, it's always a good idea to take a few close-ups as well. In my case here, for example, of the skis. Such shots are often called B-roll. They make little sense on their own, but they fit very well into a varied edit. Again, it's enough to show 2 or 3 seconds of each shot. It's these details that make the difference, and then add variety to your video. But one thing I can assure you, if you don't plan the shots from the beginning, you won't take them. Unfortunately, this has happened to me all too often. While I was making minute-long videos,
I need to do better at this on my riding videos when I'm out. Do more B-roll, do more other shots that are interesting, instead of just shooting straight ahead all the time.
I just mounted my first GoPro on my helmet and then took more or less the same shots over and over again. Nobody wants to watch that. Neither do I, of course. You lose the enthusiasm for your recordings relatively quickly. It is clear that the clip should fit together when edited. GoPro offers you an endless number of mounts and accessories. For example, use chest mounts, poles, or handlebar mounts, and then put the different clips together. With the different mounts, you can achieve different perspectives. Shoot from below, from above, from behind. Similar to before, even if the individual clip may not be exciting on its own, it can be a great asset in the edit. In the video description, you will find several links to different mounts and accessories. If you are interested in skiing, I made a video about the best mounts for skiing some time ago. In it you can see the effect of the different mounts, and which kind of shots you can take with each of them. Apart from the different perspective and mounts, there are other ways to add variety. 2 very important ones are camera movements and slow motion. Camera movements not only add variety, they also add dynamics.
I'd actually like to get like magnetic mounts to GoPro. That wouldn't be a bad thing to be able to snap on my bike while I'm riding. Get like a rear shot or get another shot. There's something mounted on my frame to hold the GoPro already.
Extremely wide angle, the static position is usually the most boring one. I have already made a video on GoPro camera movements as well. I'll link you all the videos I mentioned in the description. For more variety, you can also use slow motion. I don't mean that you should create the whole video in slow motion, but individual scenes or highlights get a very special effect if you include them in slow motion, and the GoPro is really great when it comes to slow motion shots. On the Hero 10, for example, the 4K 120 mode is one of my favorite features. The quality is almost indistinguishable from shooting in 4K 30 or 24, and the slow motion shots just look spectacular. It looks especially good when you combine the slow motion recording with the right music or the beat of the music. And that brings us to the next point, music and possibly sound effects. If you think of the short clip in the intro or even most GoPro commercials, these shots would hardly make an impact without the right song. The right music will ultimately make all the difference. So it's not only important that you edit your project to the music, that is to the beat, but of course it's also important that you choose a piece of music that conveys the mood that fits your footage. Especially if you want to publish your videos on YouTube, for example, you might want to think about a music licensing service. You can of course use music with a Creative Commons license. This worked well for me for a long time, but at some point I encountered certain limits. The selection of free good music is very limited, and I was constantly using the same songs. Today I use the music service Audio, and personally I am especially satisfied with the quality of the songs. However, this video is not sponsored by Audio, and you can of course find very good music from other providers. Audio has for me, apart from the quality of the songs, the advantage that there are always excellent offers, and they also have a lifetime license. For the Pro license, there is a fantastic deal at the moment. The Pro license includes not only music, but also sound effects, and is universal. The music can therefore be used for all commercial purposes. If you want to have a look, or better said, listen to it, you will find a link in the video description. Well, I think that if you take these 5 tips to heart, you will produce very cool GoPro videos. If the video was interesting for you, give me a like and feedback. There will be more GoPro tutorials to come, so stay tuned and see you next time.
Do a wet log ride in the dark.
Hey guys, welcome to Dalestone. Today we're going to be going on a very exciting frosty night ride.
That is 100% going to be the intro. All right, into the darkness.
Well, you heard the man. Today, we're going on a night ride. Something that I have done a lot of in my time. However, I've never been able to film it because my existing light setup was just a bit too dark for filming. Luckily, Magic Shine decided to reach out to the channel and see if they could sponsor a video. So they sent me 2 of their brightest lights.
Yeah, that'll do. That is insane. Out of like 5 tiny LEDs.
Their Alti 1500 and their Montier 8000 Galaxy for a total lumen output of 9,500 lumens, which is a bit of a step up from my previous setups, 2,000. Cool. So I'm out here today on Burke with Alistair, and we're going to see how this goes. Hope you enjoy.
Oh my god. You all good? All right. Let's ride some double blacks. Upper elevator. Woo. Okay. This is really bright. Oh, steeper. Riding at night is like the GoPro effect, but for your eyes. That's interesting. Pretty good, eh? Conditions are good. All right, upper elevator continued. I used to do a lot of night riding out east as I was growing up, but I haven't done a ton of it out here, mostly because my lights were for like out east kind of speeds, not out west kind of speeds, and I've never been able to film a video because they just weren't that bright. So I'm pretty thankful that Magic Sign decided to send me some of the brightest lights they make, because this is so easy to film, I'm sure. Wow, this is quite good today. Woo! Let's see how else to do that. Oh, how cool is that shot? Woo!
Oh, I missed the skate.
Nice. Actually riding quite a bit faster than I was expecting to do. Don't know what's over the abyss there, but also don't want to find out. Wow, almost ran into that log. Oops, wrong way. That was fun. That was very fun. All right, let's do it. Oh, a little fast.
Put that light on my list. My light's pretty old. Got an old Night Rider that's probably 10, 12 years old. So it doesn't last very long anymore, and it's not bright compared to new lights. But for that 540K ride I want to do this year, I probably need a brighter light. One that I can charge via USB as I'm riding. I don't think I'll be able to buy a powered hub this year. You'll do that. But I already have lots of battery packs. I put one of those in my frame bag on that trip and keep riding through the night, hopefully with full charge.
This think it's scary in the daytime. New inside line. Nice. All right, let's ride Brap. Couple of scary routes, always fun. That was fun. That was a new one. See if I have the speed for this one. I do. Ooh, nice. Thanks, Brig. That looks awesome. Foot out, flat out. Oh my god. I found out why I have no grip. I have like 30 PSI. Okay, Dodger, main attraction of the day. Oh my god. Guess we're going around. Woo! That was fun. Bit scary. Let's go watch Alistair. Alright, there he is, going into shoe number 1. Easy. Shoe number 2. Nice, bud. Quite steep, quite scary. I think it'll go. Wow, don't look at that light. Okay. High left. Oh wow, it's dry. Alright. Alright, let's hit the jump. That was a big jump at night. That section is just as fun at night. Ooh, bottom of my front there. Little sketch. The big shoot. Let's watch Alistair. The noises there should give you an idea of how steep this is. The answer? Pretty steep. Nice. Alright, onward. That one's a little bit sketchy now.
Just use my power up now. I'm out of here in about 5 minutes. I'll stop the ride anyways. That's it. An hour. Easy cruise is the goal for the day, and we're hitting it. About 30K. which keeps me on track for 10,000K this year. Actually ahead by 270K or something. A week in a bit. About 200K a week. And need about 2,000 meters of elevation a week as well. But 2 trips up the Alps will do that this week. Plus, I'll probably ride outside on Sunday or something.
Oh, that was so cool. Woo. Woo. This is really fun. Nice, you clean all that?
I don't know how I survived that.
This is the section I go a little bit too fast in the daytime. Ooh, heads up. Lights are a little bit higher than my helmet, so you gotta be careful on those ducking moves. Hold line. Woo! Let's see, can we cross the raging river? And then up that rock. We'll try it. Oh yeah. Woohoo! Well, that ride was sick. Gotta do some more of that. Send it. Yee!
So thanks once again to Magic Shine for sponsoring this video and making it possible. At the time of uploading this, I've been on several rides with both of the lights they sent me, and I have really no complaints. The Montier 8000 Galaxy light on the handlebar is absolutely silly bright, and occasionally a little bit brighter than the car headlights to pass you going up the road. It has a really nice wide beam pattern, which is something you look for in a handlebar style floodlight, and it has a really even beam pattern, so there aren't any hot spots that will distract you when you're riding along. The clamp mount is super secure and is really easy to take on and off your bike. The LT1500 worked fantastic as a helmet light, and it is quite a narrow beam pattern compared to the Montier, but that's what you look for in a helmet light because it's more of a focus, like where are you looking sort of light to look around corners and look over ledges and stuff. Now, unlike the handlebar light, I'm quite a fan of the helmet light being a self-contained module because then you don't have to run any sort of wiring down to a pouch or a camelback. Neither lights have had any sort of thermal issues. They've never downrated on me once by moving to a lower setting, and they've also been extremely waterproof over some pretty disgusting test rides that I did. Battery life has been more than adequate for a 1,000-meter ride. If you'd like to learn more about Magic Shine or the 2 lights that they sent me, I've left some links down in the video description. Or go ask Indy what they think, because if it's night riding season, there's a good chance they're in stock. I'm excited to get out more, and I'd love to hear what you think about this video. And I'll see you in the next one.
Oh, I just burned my leg on my brake caliper. Ow. I told you this would be horrible. Oh!
There we go. Thanks for joining. I need to go have some lunch. Get back to work. Thanks for watching. Should be steering around tomorrow from 1 p.m. Pacific with stage 2 of Tour Rotopia. Take it easy. Watch the YouTube videos again. Just keep it easy because my legs are pretty spent. Need to unsign up for the noon. Sign up for 1. Just doing the 38K loop, 36K loop, because that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.